Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to EVE Online. Today I am going to be running Guristas Scout Outpost escalation. You may remember I did a video on this a while back, but I've taken to doing it a new way that ends up being a whole lot faster. Generally, I've been doing a lot of stuff with Sentry Drones because I don't like having to manage drone aggro so much, especially when heavy drones can take a while to get back to you. So I've hit a Vexor Navy issue to use Sentry Drones at 60 kilometers, and I've been having a lot of success running these sites. It's gone a whole lot faster than they did in my Myrmidon, both because this is a faster ship, it can get to the gate faster, and also because I don't have to send my drones after each individual thing. It means I can take out the cruisers and the battle cruisers in this site a whole lot faster. Just to go through my fit really quick, I have 2 medium processor overclocking units that just gets me the CPU I need. You see I'm very tight on CPU. Better skills you might not need, but I do. And a medium anti-kinetic pump to bolster my tank. Guristas enemies, which is what I'll be fighting, do thermal and kinetic damage, so those are the 2 things that I've tanked for. I have 2 200mm rail guns. They're Tech 1, they don't do much damage. I might not use them the entire site, but I have them if I need them. Drone link augmenters, I have 2 of them. That's important because it increases my drone range up to 75 kilometers. My targeting range is 60, but going a little past that is good, because if something shoots me before I can target it, then that will trigger drones to aggro them even if I can't target it. 2 cap rechargers, a cap battery, a micro warp drive, 1 armor repairer, 1 armor hardener for each relevant type, 1 for thermal, 1 for kinetic. If you're fighting different enemies, then you presumably would want to tank for those instead, and then 3 drone damage fires. So it's a fairly simple fit, and it's not very expensive. Besides the hull, this is a Vexor Navy issue, but 80 mil for the hull, but only 20 mil for the fittings. So this is not a difficult thing to fit. So let's warp to the site here, and I'll show you how easy this is with sentries. Basically, the plan is I'm going to warp into the first room, burn out to 50 to 60 kilometers from the closest enemies, and deploy my Sentry Drone. Then I'm going to sit there and shoot everything that gets near me. That should be enough to deal with most things in the site. I might have to do a little more maneuvering, but that should take care of the first room, and the second room is exceptionally easy. But we'll get there in a moment.
Warp drive active.
So warping into the site. My tab that will pretty much just show enemies on my overview here. Got a wall of red, and we're just going to turn around and move away from most of it. I'm at 50 kilometers from the closest ones. I'm going to stop. My momentum carry me a little further, and then once I'm below 100 meters per second, here, I will deploy my Sentry Drone. You see, I almost lost shield getting here, but from here, the entire room should come generally towards me. Did end up going a little further from some of these than I actually intended, so move a little bit closer just to speed this up. Pulse this once for a little extra speed. Like a lot of them didn't actually start chasing me. And one of the big advantages of doing things this way is you lose a lot fewer drones. Yeah, it looks like most of the enemies in the site didn't even aggro. Last time I did this, they all chased me, but on the one hand, it's bad because it means I'll have to burn in manually a bit more. Oh, okay, it looks like maybe now they've noticed. They're starting to come toward me. Now, I guess they're shooting my drones, that's why they're not aggroing me. But because of the drone range, my drones are hitting them anyway. As long as they're within 75 kilometers, I can hit them. This cruiser I'm starting to target here, the Guristas Scout Officer, has a chance to drop faction modules, I'm told. He also drops Overseer's personal effects. They're not terribly valuable, but make sure to loot his wreck for an extra 600,000. It won't cost you any time, since you have to go in that direction anyway. It's also no harder to kill than any other cruiser, really. You can see right here, I'm appear to be past the effective range of a lot of these guys. I haven't even really gotten hit in a while, so you don't have to worry about your tank, really. I have all these tanking modules, but as long as I'm doing this correctly, I don't really need them. They're kind of just there for security. As you do this, be sure to, when things are at about equal range, to prefer shooting frigates, because if you don't, they are the ones that can close the distance and actually get under your guns. And it's not the end of the world if they do, but it is slightly inconvenient because then you have to recall your Sentry Drones and launch a wing of light drones to take care of them. You see, there's only 3 enemies that still haven't noticed me and are sitting at 90 kilometers. That's fine. They're frigates, so I'll deal with them with light drones on my way through. There were also, I believe, the same 3 enemies last time I did this, which leads me to believe that something about that pack does not aggro along with the rest of the site. You see, this room is entirely done. I can now burn through it. I'll clean those 3 up on my way to the gate. I'm not sure if everything aggroes by proximity and they are just the most distant enemies, or if it has something to do with most of the site is linked and for some reason those 3 are not. I've never seen the Scout Officer drop anything except the personal effects, but I'm told he can. We'll find out Feeling generous today? Nope. Now we're going to approach the security gate. Send my hobgoblins after these. Get bounced around off the architecture of the site. All aforementioned hobgoblins and go to the second and final room. This is even easier because there's only one thing we need to kill in this entire room. Back when I did this with heavy drones, I had to burn to it at least, and then I usually lost some heavy drones in the process. It's not that hard this time though. The radiating telescope is the thing with the loot. It's the only thing we need to kill. Make sure you make a bookmark before you do, so that you can warp back here. The idea is we're going to kill this, warp off, wait for the site to despawn, and then we'll warp back and take the loot. Now, most of the health of this telescope is in the structure. You can see as soon as I start shooting it, it will be my drones that take the aggro. But luckily, since they're so close, if this actually gets in trouble, its shields are standing up pretty well, but if it actually gets in trouble, I can just recall it instantly. I don't have to wait for it to come back to me, and that was what lost me heavy drones when I ran this before. It's also useful that just from the warp-in, you can immediately start shooting the telescope. Okay, shields are almost down, so I'll just recall him. Sure that they lose their lock. And start shooting someone else, and I'll redeploy him. Alright, telescope is down, and the only thing we have to do now is warp off and wait.
Warp drive active.
While we do our waiting, I'll just note, I'm not sure how long this took, but my guess is it was a lot faster than the video I made about this before. Probably about 10 minutes or so. So if you get a 4 out of 10, this is a very expedient way to run it. I don't know if this is the optimal method, but I think its speed is such that it could be considered a fair contest. Obviously, if you have better skills than me, you'll have more DPS. Things will go a little bit faster, but this, I know a lot of people speed tank it in ships. My guess is that this could give those people a run for their money in terms of how quickly to get through, because the first room evaporates, and the second room you don't even have to get anywhere close to the telescope. You can just deploy from warp-in. There's no time lost there at all. So, wait here a minute or so, and then we will warp back, claim our spoils. Kind of waiting for the music to stop. Usually I take that as a sign that the site has despawned. Obviously, if you're doing this in low sec, you don't want to just stand still at the sun. You would want to have warped to a safe point. These sites can spawn in low sec. Often they do. You noticed that I have a... Oh, okay. So it's disappeared from my journal now. That probably means the site's gone. Never mind. If you get the pop-up, the site is not gone. But yeah, this other Guristas Scout Outpost that I got is in low sec. So I was hesitant to make the video there. That said, if it's a low sec system where there's no gate camp, by all means go for it, because the drops from these can be 200, 300 mil if you're lucky. And this ship costs 104 mil. So, in terms of risk to reward, it's still pretty good as long as you can navigate safely, as long as you watch your D-scan. There we go.
Active.
Warping back, no message when we do, which site's gone. All the enemies are gone. We can take the single container of loot should be left there. I can get rid of my bookmark here. Don't want to clutter up the solar system too much. Reload the one round I spent. So, we're guaranteed to get an 8th tier Overseer's personal effects, along with this 7th tier I picked up from the Scout Offs. But if we're lucky, we'll get some other stuff too. Let's find out what the haul for today is like. Okay, about 1.5 mil, that's not great. This is just a standard, not worth nothing drop. We have the 1.2 mil personal effects, and then we have Dead Space loot worth 300,000. Not really very good, but given how fast this was, it wasn't a great loss either, and it certainly has potential to give you a hell of a lot more. So, warping back to station, docking up. That will do it for this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope that you have better luck with drops than I just did, but I hope that you enjoy running these sites super fast. If you have any questions about the fitting, what sort of stats I get with this, or how to find these sites, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, everyone, and fly safe.